Bionics. Then we have Mr. Niran Rehman, who is the Chief Business Officer for Dun & Bradstreet. Mr. Wasim Irshad, who is the co-founder at Wow Health, and Ms. Fatima Mazhar, who is the COO at Collabs. Welcome to the panel. And without further ado, I would like to start off with Mr. Wasim Irshad. Wasim, you are managing a health tech business, and you're a co-founder for a health tech business, which is not only limited to Pakistan, but also providing solutions globally into Pakistan. So I would like to ask you if what marketing challenges, because companies like yours are more tech enabled and they're more towards solution providing. And what kind of marketing challenges do you face or are you facing currently?
Thank you so much, Shazad, for your for giving this opportunity to share. What challenges we are facing. So first of all, I would like to tell about Vowel Solutions. Basically, Vowel Solutions is a complete healthcare ecosystem that has been launched in USA back in 2019, and we have got a huge network of healthcare providers over there, and we are digitizing complete healthcare process over there. After that, now the product being developed in Pakistan, so that's the first market where we should be launching. So we launched Wow Health in Pakistan, and Pakistan being a very different kind of market and very different kind of audience. When you talk about 220 million people, 37% people living in urban areas, 67% people living in rural areas, and internet and mobile penetration is quite high. Generally, if you go to any kind of rural areas, you will feel that people are using mobile phones, people are even using smartphones. But on the other hand, there is a lot of limitation when you talk about people understanding how your websites work, how your mobile applications work, what are the natural flows. I would really say that when we talk about this whole community, we have to completely rethink about the user experience journey, because I personally feel that there are traditional marketing ways which we generally use. There are growth hacks which we use to reach out to people, to so that they can hear about us. But once we reach to them and they know about us, the next challenge is that if they land to your website or if they land to your mobile app somehow, or if they call on your helpline number, then they should be able to find out the service on your platform very comfortably. That's the only thing that will make them use this service again, and that's the biggest challenge. The UI UX engineers, after reading lots of books which have been published in the Western markets, and learning from those articles and those media channels, and when they come to this market, they really have to have some innovation in their ideas. Like, for example, just if we talk about our rural areas, people generally call to our helpline, जी वो डॉक्टर साथ बात करनी है. And then when you tell them that, okay, so do you have easy paisa wallet so that you can make your payment? So half of the population is not even using digital payments. So there becomes a bottleneck, and that person actually cannot see the doctor, and now he is not satisfied with that call, and he is not going to call back again. So we have to come up with a ways that, okay, we are giving you this call free. You will receive your prescription once you go to any easy paisa shop and you pay, or we are giving you first consultation free, and then you can come back next time. That you can pay up front on easy paisa and you utilize our service. So market dynamics are quite different, I would say.
Great, Wasim. Moving on to Rehman, Niran Rehman Saab, you are in the financial sector and you're using technology at the same time. What are your views as the Chief Business Officer? What challenges do you face in business development and in marketing when you yourself are an enabler? What are your challenges?
Yeah, thank you, Shazad, and hello, everyone. Hello to the rest of the panelists as well. Thank you for having me. And as you correctly pointed out, Shazad, so, Dun & Bradstreet, we've been in business for close to 180 years. And it's difficult to explain what we do, But to summarize it, we're a data and analytics company. So over the last 150 years, we have managed to master the art of collecting, verifying, and then distributing and reconciling data. To cut it short, that's what we do. So in the 175 years, we are now the custodians of the largest commercial, public, and private corporate database in the world. 90% of the Fortune 500 companies utilize and leverage our database for sales and marketing purposes. So, as you correctly mentioned, we're a catalyst of marketing. Yes, based in Pakistan, we have challenges to market our own brand, but we are here to enable organizations to face the challenges of marketing. So I think that's how I will begin the talk on how we can help startups, small, medium enterprises, single member companies to improve their marketing process. I was on another call. I was listening to another call before this call, and I was in this jar, and 40 startups have managed to raise $270 million this year, and they were expecting a congratulations, but she said it's not enough because the foreign funding which is coming in these startups, it's coming in when they're already established, and the problem is that seed capital is required for the startups who have failed. So this number should be in the billions, according to her, and she's an expert in her field. So how do we do that, right? And a lot of that has to do with sales and marketing, marketing specifically. Today, if I get a profile from a vendor and he says, I am the largest hand sanitizer provider in the world, and he gives me a 50-page company profile claiming that he's the largest hand sanitizer manufacturer in Pakistan, how do I verify that profile? I'll give you another example. If I receive an email from Tanzania or another frontier market, do I open that email? Would you open that email? So, the first step towards marketing company profiling is making sure that you represent yourself as a verified, authenticated business. And the only way you can represent yourself as a verified, authenticated business, specifically when you're a startup and an SME who's looking to explore the global markets, or who's looking to explore the regional markets, or even looking to explore into the local ecosystem in another geography, introducing yourself as a verified entity is extremely important in the world that we live. And this is the way the West works as well. There are third-party credit checks and third-party profiling and third-party KYCs going on all the time before you do business with somebody else. And this is a culture in Pakistan which we are trying to develop, and a lot of established organizations already understand this, that when it comes to marketing yourself and showing yourself, it is not about how you see yourself, it is about how others see you. So it helps when you have a third party involved who does that KYC and does that, develops that ecosystem about your business, and then presents you to the world. And a lot of organizations who have looked to raise funding or use us for marketing purposes to generate new business have gone through the verifier. And this is something which works, especially if you go through an established consultant. This is just a small part of the solution. It is not the solution. I'm not saying that once you become a verified entity, your marketing problems will be solved. But in today's world, with the amount of false information that is being spread, it helps to show yourself as a verified entity. And because we are operating in a frontier market, it's a point which I think which should be addressed, especially for startups and small medium enterprises who are looking to take their brand out there or go global. And we can talk about that some more.
Yeah, thank you, Niran. A very good point that you need to be a verified entity before you can get into the marketing arena. Anas, Niaz, you are a startup and a case study for Pakistan, that where you start, you're not only in the initial stages, but you're a mid-tier startup and who's graduated to a level where your bionics is iconic, as I would like to call it. So if you can quickly share your marketing journey and how did you, and do you think that you were adequately marketed, and do you think your product is adequately disseminated, the product and service that you offer to your customers, and what challenges do you still face and did you face in your journey?
Thank you, Shazad, for having me on this wonderful panel discussion. And adding to it I totally agree with Rehman, because the third party verification is very important when it comes to market, when it's it's come to credibility, especially when you are offering a very innovative product, very different product in a local market. So it's very important to have a lot of credible media or credible platforms that can actually spread your words to your customers, because the target market that we have is mostly living in the rural areas, people who lose their arms due to some accidents or because of family marriages. So right now,
I think we have a technical issue with Anas. We will get back to him. Meanwhile, I would like to speak to Fatima Mazhar, who is managing Labs, a co-working space. You are providing, or you're being an analog enabler to the digital enablers. So what is your thought on the provision of marketing for these enablers, and not only limited to startups, but the overall enablers?
To anybody who is
Fatma, if you can, yeah.
I was just waiting for, can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, please.
Yeah. So sorry for my condition. I have a little bit of dengue, which is getting better now, but I'm better. So I just didn't want to say no to the panel. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for your commitment and your time.
Thank you for having me. I think this is a very interesting topic. And I think what Collabs does is it actually does enable a lot of these startups. When startups start off, it's very difficult to get an office space, get it furnished, get all the infrastructure ready, and that takes a lot of cost. So what we're doing is we're enabling them by taking away all this cost from them and actually providing them an ability to come to an office from day one and have everything set up for them. We also provide them some services, as maybe setting up their legal entity for them for a price, obviously. We can also run their payroll. We can do all of this. And actually, we do a lot of work in the background, marketing the startups that sit with us. And some of this funding that has happened for some of these startups has happened because we've had some investor meetings come in with these startups. Whenever investors are in town, they will come to Collabs, we'll connect them to the startups, and startups will be able to raise some funding. There's some success stories around that I won't get into. But I think as we talk about marketing and as we talk about how to enable the enablers or yourself in the marketing scene, I've always seen that what works best is word of mouth. And while, you know, Pakistan's a big country and there's a lot of widespread companies that are there. One of the things that works really well is if you have a good set of customers in the beginning that can market for you. There's nothing better out there than your own customers and then your own people marketing for you. I don't know, many of you don't know, but I was the head of expansion for Careem, and I expanded Careem to Pakistan. And so when we first came, having people take an app, book a ride, and then a driver or a captain, as we call them, actually take a mobile phone, which is what I think, the first speaker, I can't see his name, Wasim was saying. It took us a while. It took us a while to make people understand that they don't have to call us every time that they want to book a ride. They can actually use their app. But what we did was we worked really hard on the first few customers and the first few drivers, and then they brought more customers, and then they brought more drivers. And as you build trust with the customer, so when you're starting up, you just need to build trust. Even at Collabs, you know, we can market all we want, but as long as we're not providing the top quality service, and we're not having people speak for us, your customers speak for you, or them going out there and speaking for you, and not paid promotions, like actually speaking for you, you're going to see the difference out there. Now, it's not as easy as it is for everyone else, but my advice to everyone out there is that when you're starting a startup, you should have your first few customers as your ambassadors. Do not go out looking for influencers, because a lot of people will, in this day and age, go to influencers. And what the influencers do is they'll get the word out there, but everyone knows that influencers are paid to say this. They have this contract, and your marketing is supposed to say that. trust me when I tell you that if you have your customers speaking for you and they're going out there and saying this for you, you'll see the difference in the marketing. But there are a lot of challenges.
You're
There is
killing
a
the
long way
idea
to
of
go.
advertising and marketing totally.
I am. But there's
By sucking out the influencers, you're killing the idea of advertising, marketing,
I'm not. I
media.
think, I'm so sorry. I think influencers are amazing. I'm always envious of how they're able to do things. But I think to get authentic feedback from your customers and have real people say real things makes all the difference in the world. So that's my advice, and that's how you enable your business, and that's how you enable people that are using your product and service. But I don't in any way mean to diss the advertisers. Sorry, guys.
No. That was all in good fun. Actually, there is no marketing that is greater than word of mouth marketing, and that is a such satisfied customer experience. That is the best form of marketing that anybody could have, be it a digital platform, an analog platform, whatever product or service. Wasim Saab, you have a product which is related to health, and it's a health tech product which is not only a bit difficult to explain to people and let alone sell to them. What avenues do you feel, like Fatima said that, and to a certain extent I would agree, that today people are aware enough to know that all of this is paid for, and the influencers are being paid to do those shout outs and launch your products and all of that. But there are, I think, some corporate platforms also which can actually help you in corporate outreach. So and have you reached out to some of them, and what are your plans? Because from what I know, you will be soon launching a product, and I think you would have a plan to disseminate to customers, and your product is a little difficult to understand, because सेहत का ख्याल रखने की आप बात कर रहे हैं, और सेहत की बात करें, यहाँ लोगों के पास टाइम, मोटिवेशन और पैसे, तीनों चीजें नहीं होती हैं अक्सर सेहत के हवाले से, और उसके बाद सारी जिंदगी पैसा कमाने के बाद जो है वो, और सक्सेस अचीव करने के बाद वो सारा सक्सेस और पैसा हम सेहत पे लगा देते हैं. I think that is also the motto your company has, or something similar to that. So Wasim, over to you. What plans do you have, and how much support are you getting externally, or seeking an external support for marketing your product? Wasim, you're on mute if you...
Yeah.
Thank you.
Shazad, you mentioned three very important things. So first of all, unfortunately, Pakistan, when you talk about healthcare, it is we guys have we don't have a preventive mindset. We have a corrective mindset. जब हो जाएगा तो फिर देखेंगे. जब बीमार हो जाएंगे तो डॉक्टर के पास भी जाएंगे. जब डॉक्टर कह देगा कि यार ये टेस्ट करवा लेंगे, सर्जरी करवा लेंगे, लेकिन उसको प्रिवेंट करने के लिए कोई अगर आपको कहे यार कि जस्ट डू दिस मच ऑफ एफर्ट, तो यू आर नॉट गोइंग टू डू इट. ठीक है जी.
इसीलिए वसीम साहब, सॉरी फॉर इंटरजेक्टिंग, इस माइंडसेट आपका नहीं है ना इस तरह का, इसीलिए मैंने आपसे पूछा था, बिकॉज ज्यादातर लोग कहते हैं जब प्रोडक्ट लॉन्च हो जाएगा तो हम मार्केटिंग करेंगे. आई एम श्योर यू हैव प्री प्लान फॉर द मार्केटिंग, इसीलिए मैंने आपसे ये सवाल डायरेक्ट किया था आपको.
Exactly. अब as there are lots of corporate channels from where you can market. There are influencers. There is a complete digital marketing vertical which you can use. There are corporate companies which have got quite a lot of outreach there. You can reach to them. And then when you talk about your conventional marketing, you can go on the media, and you can on radio, which is generally used in your far-flung areas. You can make your word reach to people. Of course, none of the companies, none of the startups can move without these. So this thing is out of question that any of us can deny usage of these kind of channels. But with the virtue of today's discussion, I would like to point out things which are not very very common and not very thoughtful. One thing very important is that to make your service simpler, right? Like we say, Fori doctor. Fori doctor is a simpler thing. Yeah, Fori is a doctor belong, right? So this kind of stuff when we talk about, so we generally want people to use this word as their common lingo. Second important thing which I would want to share with all of startups is that our biggest asset is our own workforce, our own trusted team members. I have got, for example, 70 team members sitting out there, and if my team members, they start posting about everything they know about this product, and what they like about this product. You know, I multiply my one marketing channel to 70, right? And those people are, these people are not the paid people. And I am not against the paid marketing companies. Of course, they are one of the very important component of marketing. Still, we have to come up, as Fatma said, that customers are one of the very important element. If they tell someone, ये मैंने फलां जगह से burger खाया था, that was wonderful, you are definitely going to try it, right? And if you get a brochure saying that wo burger bahut अच्छा hai, every brochure tells about that specific burger, that this burger is the one of the best burgers in the town, right? But if somebody telling you that this burger is one of the best in the town is one thing. Another important thing is that if my team members and my close people, if they start posting what is really unique about this specific product, why this burger is unique, why this burger is delicious, why he wants to eat this kind of burger, what are the specific situations where he prefer to eat this kind of burger. This kind of word, I think this is something which we need. You must have heard about Nagina burger in F10, right? I have never seen any branding about that Nagina burger, but I always, whenever I go there, I want to eat it, right? So this kind of word is quite, its consistency and outreach is quite high. But again, I would mention that I do not deny and I completely agree that we cannot move on without having a proper marketing strategy, जिसके अंदर हमारे पास outreach managers हो, जिसके अंदर हमारी social media marketing हो, जिसके अंदर हम corporates के साथ और influencers के साथ मिलके काम करें. That is one vertical. Another vertical is, these are called growth hacks, which you have to bring forward in the market. These growth hacks can help you to grow, to get penetration quite faster in the market. So that's the most important point.
Thank you, Wasim. Very enlightening and very well structured. Anas, thank you. You're back. We would like to continue from where we left off. I think you had a technical glitch at your end. I think we want you to continue from where you said that most of your market is rural, where your product is needs to be marketed. So let's continue from there, please.
Yeah, thank you so much. And sorry for the inconvenience. So basically, as I was telling, that most of our market is in rural areas, and the people are not aware of the technology, and they really want to see, because when we market this product in electronic media, so most of them don't actually use electronic media that much. So that's a very different perspective that we got after working in this startup for 6 years. So now what we do is we try to find different platforms, because I have seen that most of the people are using different applications like Snapchats or TikTok or snack videos, because in that case we have seen the people actually reach to us very quickly, because they are using these kind of platforms rather than using Instagram or Facebook. Even the YouTube, we surprisingly got greater impact on YouTube rather than having impact on Facebook. So this is these are few challenges that we are facing, and the third party authentication is very important when once you want to build the credibility of your startup.
Anas, how did you make a marketing plan when you knew your product is a difficult sell? How much support did you get from non-conventional or customized marketing solutions? Did you explore any? You talked about the digital ecosystem, the YouTube and your Facebook and social media. There are analog platforms also. But did you find any customized solutions, or did you find corporates helping you in those customized solutions, or did you draft a customized marketing plan for your product?
Yeah, definitely, because our product is very niche, and people have to share the innovation in their circle if they need this kind of product. So this is a very different kind of segment that we are dealing in Pakistan, and not only in Pakistan, because we have seen that the product that we are building in Pakistan is also a very in need product in other markets, in US and UK as well, because there are few companies who are actually building these prosthetics in all over the world. You can actually count them on your fingertips. So I have seen that this is the community, the differently able community is connected very well. Like it's connected. They don't have borders. Actually, they are very well connected. They have groups. They have WhatsApp groups. They actually communicate with each other very often. So this actually helps us a lot to reach out to the targeted audience as well. But obviously, the people who are living in rural areas don't have the access of these kind of platforms. So we have to engage them, and then we have to ask them to create a group so that they can actually spread our words to them. So it's like, for example, and we have to find the influencers as well in their local community so that they can actually spread our words to them. So this is very important. And if I talk about our recent world record that we have made from a 5-year-old boy from Charsadda, the boy used to speak Pashto. He does not understand Urdu very well. So the video that we shot is in Pashto. So that video went viral in Afghanistan because of the Pashto language. And that video only got like more than 6 million views in 7 days, just because of the language, and people were not aware about the technology. So we find out that the local and regional language is very important once if you want to promote your product in a local market, and especially into the rural areas.
Okay, thank you, Anas. Fatima, my next question: would you rate yourself as a marketing enabler yourself and platforms like yours? Because I would not like to label you as a co-working space or as a physical structure provider. If you think that you are a marketing enabler, how many other companies do you think are providing this kind of a provision and infrastructure? Because you said that you have actually helped companies which have gotten seed funding, and by virtue of being part of collabs and by virtue of being there. So do you see yourself as a marketing enabler?
We do. Marketing enabler for sure. And I'll explain why. Most of the time when we're describing ourselves, when we're talking about collabs, we're talking about ourselves as being a community. And a community that interacts with each other. So I like that you did say that we're not just a real estate play, because we're not. There are other co-working spaces where you go, you get you get an office or you get a seat, and that's it. Most of the competitors that we have, they're doing a great job, but they have limited capacity. What we've done at Collabs is we've been around for only 2 years, and in 2 years we've grown up to almost 1,000 seats now. The current 2 facilities that we're at are at 99% capacity, so we're building a third place. The interesting part is, as the company grows, they come up, they have 2 people. They say, okay, we need more people. So we'll reach out to our network, my network, Umar's network, our whole team's network, and say, okay, we can find some people for you. Or we'll partner them up with a recruitment company that we know and trust. So they'll be able to recruit. Now they say, okay, we want to go up to 20 people. Now we want to go up to 60 people. So we've kind of grown Collabs with the different companies that we have. So we have about 50 plus companies that sit at Collabs in 2 different spaces. We're building a third one. It's mostly, there's a wait list for that company. Apart from that, we know each and everything about the company. So if they're hiring, we're looking out for them to hire. If they're looking for a recruitment partner, we're giving them recommendations. If they're looking for a marketing agency, we're giving them recommendations. And on our end, we're always marketing them as well, because every time we talk about Collabs, we don't talk about our team as much as we talk about who are the companies that are sitting with us. What are these companies doing? So if you look at our LinkedIn space, it mostly talks about our startups, what they're doing, and other startups. So I really believe that we are an enabler. And the strongest part, again, I'll come back to what our strongest part is. All of us have a network. All of us have connections. So what happens is, if I hear somebody's wanting to raise a fund, and especially Umar, who's the CEO at Collabs, he has an extensive experience in raising funds. He is a PE guy from Dubai, and he moved and he started this. He built this out of his own money. He will just say, okay, I'll pick up the phone and connect you to a few investors. So a lot of these companies, startups, freelancers that are coming and sitting with us are people that actually need the kind of help. So we've not really said this out in stone that this is what we do. It's just word of mouth has spread. So a lot of people are now saying, hey, how can we be part of Collabs, and who can you introduce us to? So recently, Terry from Antler Global, which is a big VC fund, came to Pakistan, and he came to Lahore. He wanted to see what Collabs was all about. So we set him up with a meeting with multiple startups, and they started having a conversation. So I really love this word enabler, and I really like that we are an enabler, but our way of enabling them is mostly through our network, our contacts, the relationships that we've made, and connecting them to each other. And yes, we do use, marketing tactics, but the kind of work that we do and the kind of work these people do to get them, to enable them, that they come to us at a stage where they need more than marketing at this point in time. They need to set up, they need to hire, they need to meet investors. So that's a different kind of enabling that we do. And mostly I would call it's the kind of enabling where we're connecting people to each other. And that is the basis of our enabling.
Great. On a lighter note, I think CXO Global Forum, as well as the CXO Global Forum Digital Summit, also just became an enabler for marketing collabs.
Yes. 100%.
And not just collabs, but everybody in this panel, as well as all our members and everybody participating in the summit, they get a voice and they get to share how their products can be marketed. Moving on 100%. To Niran Rehman. What about the conventional methods of marketing? Niran, do you think that sending cold call emails or sending newsletters on emails, or probably email messages or SMS messages, and the conventional methods of marketing, do you really think that they can work for tech companies or startups or even, enablers? So are they still effective?
It's a great question. And I am a risk mitigation guy. Okay. If as I mentioned earlier in my previous comment, if I get an email from a source which I do not know, the chances are I'm not going to open it, and probably somebody who's tech savvy is not going to open it either, right? And then there are products which Dun & Bradstreet offers and other organizations offer as well, which may give you a QR code or a license or a verification entity in your email signature, which allow you to show yourself and expose yourself as a verified entity. That is extremely important. So because the world is changing, and before verification was not that important, pre-pandemic or maybe 2 decades ago, where everyone was emailing each other and information was at a very fast pace. But now, especially post-pandemic, verification, everyone has started verifying each other again to see what their financial condition is or what their mode of operation is because of the false news and the fake news which is coming up. So yes, you want to cold call as part of your market strategy, please go ahead. But how do you source that call is going to be accepted as a verified call? That's the question number one you need to answer. The second question, when you send an email, how do you know that email is verified? Third, is your website verified? Is the source of your URL of your website verified? That if an international business comes in is looking around to see who you are because their proposal is lying on their desk, how do you show that everything on your website is email? These are questions you should be verified. These are questions which you should be asking yourself, and the solutions are there. We have the solution. And I take this shameless opportunity to market myself right now, market Dun & Bradstreet right now. So we have those solutions. Coming back to what Fatima was saying in terms of sales and marketing, that there is nothing better than a customer referral, right? Referral is something which we're taught in schools, and a referral is what gets you the sale because you are now considered a trusted entity because of that referral which is coming in. However, it's the same concept of what I'm trying to say, or the message which I'm trying to get across. That referral itself now establishes you as a trusted entity and a trusted source to business with or to sell that product. There are other ways to show yourself as a trusted source as well as a third party. It is like, for example, if you all meet for dinner, and the reason why I'm talking to everyone is because Shazad Saab is on a platform where he's introduced all of us together. So everyone now has a higher level of credibility in my eyes because I'm on a CXO panel. And that's the same philosophy when it comes to business. You do business with people who you are introduced to, or there is a third party which is introducing you to one another. And that is where the where the theory of referral comes in. And this goes for transactional business, or this goes for big ticket marketing as well, especially if you're doing a consultancy project, or you are going to raise capital, or you're selling a product which is for a specific niche or a specific purpose. The services sector has been doing this for decades. Architects, doctors, they have been working on the basis of referrals. But in case you do not have referrals, or your referrals are not showing up, there is another way to be introduced by a third party, and that is what we've been doing for an extremely long time, in the world. And this is the way the world works. Anytime they do business with somebody new, they will do a third party check on that business, and to make sure that your data is shared with a third party is extremely important. We talk about opening Pakistan's economy, कि जी पाकिस्तान की economy खोलनी चाहिए, हम close बहुत हैं. कैसे खुलती है एक economy? एक economy data sharing से खुलती है. When you share data and make yourself more transparent, you become more trusted. It's as simple as that.
Are we as a nation or as corporates collaborative enough to share that data? Do you think that we have that collaborative culture?
It's a culture. You see, I don't want to bring Bangladesh and Vietnam into this conversation, but a lot of things which these countries did right was that they got into the data sharing and transparency culture very quickly. We still hold data very close to us. We still hold our company information very close to us. And I'm talking about the bigger players here. The startups are an open book. They share their ideas with one another and on platforms such as these. But there is a culture in Pakistan which we all have a duty to change, is that we become more transparent as corporate entities and individuals and share data in a global database, so that when the world looks at us, they know that there is a level of transparency. I'll give you. So the more if I want to look up an entity, if an entity approaches me for marketing in the United States and I want to know more about that entity, everything is public. I can do a check on that entity anywhere. Everything is public. And the more we move east, people start holding that data closer to them. So, if we get with the marketing strategies, whether it is the conventional marketing strategies, whether it's cold calling, emails, etc., when you get your name out there, it is also important to be transparent in your dealings to ensure that all your marketing strategies are working. And that transparency, the first step of that transparency is actually transparency. And we've done very well in this in Pakistan recently with Nadra, slowly opening up and sharing his data with certain platforms, with the thumbprint verifications and the authenticity verifications. And we need to do that on a global scale now. Until we don't be transparent on a global scale in line with those global benchmarks, we can do as much marketing as we want. But that transparency, and in Dun & Bradstreet terms, we have transparency indicators and different variables which actually measure this in terms of a country or in terms of an entity itself. So these things have to go hand in hand. And just to summarize, what I'm trying to say is that if you're going for a global marketing strategy, data sharing is key. मैं हमेशा कहता हूँ कि डेटा शेयरिंग के बगैर दुनिया में कारोबार करना नामुमकिन है, जितना मर्जी मेहनत कर लें. This is the message we're trying to get across, and I have to explain it as best as I possibly can.
Very well, very aptly explained, Niran, and I think privacy is often confused with data protection. Wasim Saab, your final comments, because you're in the business where privacy and data and information that is shared is very private. What do you have to say about Niran's comment? And also just one final words from all of the panelists. I think Niran has concluded very aptly, but I would like to know, when you talk about corporate outreach, B2B marketing, business to business, one thing was very clear, that there is transparency. We need to have visibility. We need to have data sharing and collaboration. Having said that, the kind of business that you are venturing into and you are already in requires a lot of privacy and protection. And how much of B2B marketing do you think you really require? Because B2C is something that is available on conventional, digital, online, offline, but B2B, and especially the word corporate outreach, how much of it is required for your business?
Thank you so much. First of all, I will really agree with Niran, because that is the trust is the first and most important thing in this whole ecosystem. If अगर आप बात करें थोड़ी सी ecosystem की, तो what you have got, the elements of ecosystem are technology, they are your payment gateways, they are your infrastructure, they are your users, and then there is trust, right? You go to someone and say you can talk to doctor on phone now. First thing comes to his mind is that doctor असली होगा, ठीक है जी. You tell them that okay, you can call your cream now from your mobile, taxi आ जाएगी, right? This is kind of feedback you get. Now I just map it on a very conventional kind of model. If you talk about the jewelers को देखें आप, तो they generally they work in Sarafa Bazaar. Why they work in Sarafa Bazaar? There is a lot of competition out there. अगर वो अकेले बैठे हुए हैं तो इट्स इजियर, जो कस्टमर आएगा उन्हीं के पास आएगा. इफ यू आर इन सराफा बाजार, तो ऑल कस्टमर आर बीइंग डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड टू एवरीवन, राइट? स्टिल दैट्स अ मार्केट जहां पे एवरीवन इज वर्किंग टुगेदर jointly and combinedly to build that trust factor. People know no one can cheat, because they'll come to me, ask price, and they go to you and ask price, and third one, and then they can verify, okay, this is the market price, and then they can buy thing from wherever they like, right? In same way, we as element of ecosystem, we have to build the trust together. It's not about selling wow health, it's not about selling collabs, it's not about selling a cream. It's about selling technology together, making it as a convention, right? For that we all have to work together to build that trust in the community. यहाँ पे थोड़ी सी बात मैं जरूर करूंगा जो आपने B2B की, because it varies from product to product. Foley Doctor is a product which will be used in the rural area by the people, right? By the end users, consumers. But if you talk about second opinion, right, that will be used by the CXOs, or that will be used by the people who are suffering from some chronic disease, to consult and to have a consultation from US doctor, right? Now this kind of thing cannot only be marketed by only digital marketing channels. You have to collaborate, you have to partner up, you have to collaborate with the businesses to tell them value, what kind of value it is bringing, what kind of ease of mind you get when you get sick, and you are not, you want to get a second opinion from somebody who is not within the system, right? And he tells you that whether it is possible for you to solve this problem or not. So it depends on the product, what kind of product it is, but definitely B2B is very important, and B2B cannot be achieved only by digital marketing. Rather, you have to bring in the mediators who can connect you with the businesses right out there, so that you can hit the bullseye within no time, right? So that's my, I think, the final word about today's session. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Wasim. Thank you very much. Very insightful. Anas, your 2 cents on B2B and corporate outreach. And since your product is B2C as well as B2B, so what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, this is very important, because the marketplace is very important part, and but there are some difference as well when you invent some kind of product that is very different to the market. So you have to educate people as well. So this is something that that gives you advantage in future, but also takes a lot of effort to educate people about your product and build their trust, so that they can actually adopt your products, because it's something they have never seen before. So B2B, yes, our product is mainly focused onto the B2B side. We do market rehab centers, hospitals, and other entities who are selling the old technology to the people who are actually in need of it. But also B2C is very important. And currently, if you talk about these, the setup we are in right now, it's called a rehab center, you can say, industry. So in Pakistan, we don't have such market available here. So the only market is for us is the social media platforms and digital market, so that we can actually build our credibility. And we also make few ambassadors in different cities, so that people can actually meet them physically and ask them about the credibility of our product. So that's very important that we do. And yes, I truly agree with Wasim Saab that jointly we have to work together to build the ecosystem, to build the trust of our customers. And the most important is that if there is a market, if there is a if there is an ecosystem available, just like CXO platform, so there is always a credibility for every innovative idea and every startup who is in this platform.
Great, Anas. I think what we're also concluding now, or what we're also agreeing on, is that there is a business to business B2B marketing, and then there is a business to consumer marketing, which is normally called B2C. I think what we're trying to now evolve is C2B, a new term that I would like to coin, where consumers market their business, where the consumers through digital platforms, through analog platforms, offline platforms, they market the business, and that is word of mouth. So I think C2B is the next level for all kinds of digital enablers, tech enablers. And another word for C2B, or another for this acronym, could also be from CXO to businesses, or CXO to corporates. So there we can have C2C, right, where we have CXO marketing the corporates. But thank you very much, Wasim, Irshad, Fatima, Mazhar, Niran, Rehman, and Anas, for your valuable time and discussion. It was a very interesting marketing related discussion. I have always felt that the marketing arm of technology and IT and digital enablement requires a thought and requires some kind of depth. And also the corporate outreach requires some kind of support and discussion for its evolution. Thank you very much all. Thank you very much for your time, and hope to see you